With the Doctor of Thugonomics being scarcely seen these days, and considering WWE's current state of affairs, some are beginning to wonder if maybe John Cena caught more flack than he deserved during his time. Lately, WWE creative have been proving that they can somehow manage to take top-tier talent and book them into oblivion. And perhaps John Cena was an earlier example of just that, which is the topic of this episode. Because today, Dave knows 7 ways WWE failed John Cena. False start. Many Cena haters forget that Big Fight John started out on the indie scene just like a lot of other wrestlers do. He started out in Ultimate Pro Wrestling as the prototype and was trained under staple of the indie scene, AEW's Christopher Daniels. From there, he quickly moved to WWE and their developmental territory, Ohio Valley Wrestling, which at the time operated under the legendary Jim Cornette. And so, between Daniels and Cornette, he was given all of the tools needed to be loved by wrestling snobs. However, during his time on WWE's main roster, his indie upbringing, his old school sensibilities, and much of his moveset just disappeared, giving him the reputation of someone who can't wrestle. This is overbearingly true when it comes to one move in particular, which leads me to shut the f*** up. John Cena's STF is a prime example of how WWE has done him wrong. We have seen WWE's franchise player do the move correctly, which means that he definitely knows how to do it. And back when it was known as the STFU, it seemed like this was just his own variation of it. But when WWE went PG and wanted to clean up their language and not wanting a move to be called an acronym for shut the f*** up, the STFU simply became the STF. WWE should have either stuck with the original name or they should have just had Cena do the move right, but instead they went with neither, and John Cena was made to look like an idiot who didn't know what he was doing. Turning the tide. As we have learned from acts like the Usos, Becky Lynch, and Daniel Bryan, you got to keep it fresh, and turning heel can sometimes be the biggest shot in the arm that your career needs. Plus, on top of that, John Cena was already getting booed anyway, so why not just embrace what people want? That way, at least fans get the feeling that they're a part of the creative process. But instead, by holding on to him as a babyface out of fear of losing merchandise sales, John Cena just grew stale. He was long overdue for a character makeover several times over between dropping the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick and returning to it this past WrestleMania. But more than just a new gimmick, a new attitude from a heel turn would have shown off Cena's versatility and given him new purpose, which is something that a mere outfit change alone just can't do. But speaking of which, missing in action. To tie into his role in WWE's Marine movie, John Cena switched over to having a militaristic gimmick, wearing camo shorts and saluting. However, unlike say Sergeant Slaughter, John Cena has never actually been a part of the US Armed Forces. Now, him acting in a movie is one thing, but parading him around like a soldier when he never was is something that some vets may not exactly be thrilled about, especially since it really didn't do anything for his character. It was just a weird plug for a movie that no one was going to care about in the first place. Granted, it's not as bad as when WWE carelessly thought to put Randy Orton into a Marine film, but just saying. Bury season. While John Cena does get a lot of flack for burying talent, WWE really deserves the blame on this one. While he did demand to survive a DDT to the concrete during his match against the Nexus at SummerSlam, let's remember that in the end, it's WWE management that makes the final call. Booking him to go over on the likes of Rusev, Bray Wyatt, and Wade Barrett are all the decisions of the upper brass, as is failing to book those talents strong after their loss to Big Match John. But unlike Triple H's Reign of Terror, Cena isn't married to a McMahon. Up on a pedestal. Overall, WWE has just placed John Cena up too high for his own good. Despite claiming that wins don't matter, WWE seems to be strategically booking wins around certain wrestlers more so than others. Creative seems to fail to realize that winning works on a bell curve. Don't win big enough and fans will say that you're not getting pushed. Win too big too often and you're being shoved down our throats. There's a simple sweet spot when it comes to winning, and WWE missed that exit a long time ago with John Cena. And they missed it so badly that by the time Cena started picking up more L's during his later years, fans were just expecting the other shoe to drop the entire time. And when it finally did, to be the man. Tying Ric Flair's record was a huge mistake if you ask many fans. Ric Flair is a legend in the business and considered by many to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And as much as WWE wants to celebrate Cena as being on that level, he's definitely nowhere close. Tying the record did nothing to endear him to old school fans nor his detractors, and it wasn't going to make him a bigger deal to the C Nation. If anything, it had the opposite effect, with some fans of Cena being upset with his anticlimactic 16th title run. This served no good to anyone other than just being another WWE vanity milestone. Furthermore, Cena never should have been booked anywhere near 16 to begin with. Ever since John Cena won number 15, many wrestling fans just went into every single John Cena world title match fearing that today would finally be the day. And it should never feel that way going into a professional wrestling match. Fans shouldn't be filled with righteous anger going into it with a best case scenario of just feeling relief if a particular wrestler doesn't win. It should be a competitive contest between two wrestlers who both have an equal opportunity to win and who fans enjoy watching. Which is exactly what WWE could have had if only they hadn't failed one wrestler in specific, John Cena.